think we're back. That was unfortunate that the very unfortunate that that cut out. Anywho, so I believe now that means that the stream cut off and we're having to start over again. So on Instagram, I asked about what to stream today because I didn't have a sort of very clear-cut idea on what I wanted to do. I got a really good suggestion from Ether. Already forgot how to pronounce the name. We talked about this last stream. And the idea was to stream drawing a guitar or designing a guitar, which is something that I've been meaning to do in the first place. So why not get into it? And we are going to be looking at the Scum guitar. And I was just about to get into it before the stream cut out, so let's do that now before another disturbance. Yeah, okay, I can see through this sketching paper. That's all good. I am gonna give you a better look at what I'm doing. Unfortunately, this doesn't go all that far back, but we'll make do with what we got. All right, need to move my laptop here for a sec. Now essentially I want to get that body shape as far to the end as possible. So let's roughly draw this on here. Now the thing that's going to be kind of troublesome is trying to figure out the center line for this, because essentially that is what more or less defines, well, no, not more or less. That is exactly what defines where everything will get placed. So, kind of important to get right. Now, I already mentioned this before the stream cut out, but basically I got the okay to redesign the Scum into perhaps something worthy of making into a stock instrument, with only one exception to be made. I cannot make it a neck through, which is something that I am actually pretty fine with. All right, so now comes the tricky bit. We need to figure out the center line for this bad boy. And I need to tape this down, otherwise it's gonna fly away, fly away. I need tape. taping this down. And we'll be good to go. Now, already having a body shape and having to figure out a center line is a massive pain, but I'm gonna get through it nonetheless. There's just one little thing that I'm gonna do real quick. I'm just gonna say that I'm streaming to some luthier buddies if they want to check out what I'm doing. Right. So, center lines, huh? I can already tell this is not straight. I'm gonna tighten up the paper. There. Cool. So, first and foremost, well, not first and foremost, well, I guess first and foremost, extremely important to have a variety of measuring tools for this, that, and the other. So, let's have a look. That looks pretty good. Let's see if that would be anywhere close to a centerline-ish type scenario. Not quite. I want to make sure that things are a bit more aligned. I need to turn the camera so you can see something a bit better. I wonder if you can actually see anything that I'm doing here. I mean, I'm not drawing thick lines as of yet because nothing's set, but once I start drawing it on a bit thicker, you'll be able to see it a bit better. So that's 15. So technically, if I take it from the highest point, it should be about there, right? Highest point again. So my center line should look something like that. Does that look right? That doesn't look right either. It's asymmetrical as well, which makes it difficult. How about from the bottom of the scoop. That looks better. All right, yeah. So I think that is probably good for a center line. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So let's fill out the shape a little bit so you can actually see what we're working with here. I have luthier buddies of mine who are reacting to the Star Wars thing now. Which is pretty fun. Rightio. So the scum came to be pretty naturally. I had talked to Jay for a very long time about making a guitar for him. And after a lot of back and forth sending things over, trying to think of what he wanted, it was more of a we kind of whittled it down to having a super strat shape, and then God, I need to drink some water. Sorry. And then making it asymmetrical. And that amount of fine adjusting took a good long while. Mostly not so much the body, like the butt side of it. That came together pretty well. There was, of course, this lower bit was drooping quite a bit at some points, needed a bit of fixing. But the thing that was made very clear from the get-go was the fact that it had to be a certain size. So sort of almost Dinky-esque, because he really liked the fact that the Wrath guitar, which was the first guitar that we designed with Jay, is actually a fairly small body for a guitar. It's wide, but it's fairly small. And he liked the whole like Jackson Dinky type stuff. The closest thing that I had to that at Crimson was an RG, Ibanez RG template. So I used that to base this off of, which was fun, because personally I have always wanted an Ibanez. I've never had one because I've never been able to afford one. Yeah, I know I could get a cheap one, but I'd rather spend my money on making guitars, as I don't really have too much time playing them anymore. And now I have the Wrath, which is everything that I would need for my playing needs. But yeah, a very big stipulation to it was that the lower horn was not allowed to look too small. And currently, in this drawing that I'm doing right now, it is a little too pointy. So I need to take it down a bit. And yeah, I'm drawing this on pretty thick, but that's just mostly because I want you to see it on the stream. That's always bothered me a little bit, so I'm gonna come back to that in just a sec. I think it just looks a bit flat and could have more of a curve to it. That way it'll kind of flow a little bit better with the upper horn here. But yeah, even though it was more or less a metal guitar, neither of us wanted it to be pointy at any point. All right, so let's fix this, because right now it just looks kind of off a little bit. I think I need to fix the camera angle ever so slightly. Oh yeah, but this doesn't tilt downwards that well. Hold on. I'll see if I can fix that. Put it on a different tripod. Maybe that helps. Sorry for this shaky cam, but just want to give you a good idea of what we're working with here. Not that high up though. So let me know if you need this to be higher. I'll figure out something to put it on top of. What could be better than putting it on top of my little orange amp? There, that's a lot better. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing. All right, awesome. I'll bring it a bit more light so it's not that dark. Give me a sec. There. There we go. That should be pretty good. Right, so right now, what I think is that this is too straight of a line, and I kind of want to bring that in. So what I usually tend to do is, if I try and find how a curve would continue, I just start drawing the curve and naturally bringing my hand around. And that gives me already a sort of starting point on where to go from. So I think that already looks a lot better, but I think I need to thin it out because then it becomes too bulky. It's a bit too big still. A little bit too tight of a curve there. That's better. That's a good bit better. I feel better about that. And yeah, I should mention that I am drawing this on pretty rough. Okay, cool. Right, so we're gonna make this 24 frets multiscale. I'm just gonna go grab a book here with some scale lengths. Now I want to have 25 and a half there, and this goes to 60. So I might need to do a conversion. Yeah, that's what I will need to do. Gonna pull up my fret finder here. First, inches to millimeters, and fret finder. Fret Find 2D is what I use. That's at ekips.org. So I will have multiple scale lengths in millimeters. The first scale length is 647.7. Oh yeah, width at the nut is 43. String width at the bridge is 57. Last string scale is, let's see how much. We'll do 26 and a half for this one. So 673.1, 673.1, there. And I want to have the perpendicular fret distance. What is that? Well, technically I'll only need, I need the single one. So, well, 673.1 is what I need. Because I already have the 25 and a half here. 9th fret is going to be my perpendicular fret. So we're going to have a look at that. That is on the 26.5. 9th fret is 272.88. 25 and a half is metric from the nut. 262.57. Now my 24th is going to be 504.85 and 8577. Radio. Okay. Need this. Where do I want to have? 26 and a half. if I have it there, where does that put my 504? 504. That would be right around where. So instead, I'm gonna check 504.85. Actually, I should do it the other way around. So where the 24th fret is on my 25.5, because it's gonna slant this way. So I want to have that be what's 485.7. All right, so that's about there. I want that to be around here. So 485.7, which puts my 25.5 here, and my 26.5 here. I'm approaching this very differently because now I have a body shape and basing everything off of there. Usually the way I would do this is I would have the nut line, or I would have the center line, then the nut line, scale length line, and then draw everything out from there. So I'm doing this kind of backwards, where instead of doing the neck first, I'll draw the body first and then figure out the rest. Hey there, welcome. So yeah, I'm doing your suggestion of designing a guitar. This is how far we've gotten, not very. So we just have where the 24th fret is on the 25.5, and then the scale length, so 25.5 and 26.5. That's what I'm gonna go for this one. And yeah, should be fun. Now that I have those drawn out, it should be fairly easy for, whoops. So 25.5. This is where I need to turn you guys around a bit, because we're gonna be drawing the neck. There. Okay, so my 25.5-inch scale length will be here, and of course that doesn't mean much. No, yeah, that doesn't mean much at all. We need to erase the 26.5. Let's focus on this first. So I have my 25.5-inch scale length. I've made one multiscale before. So this is as much a sort of exercise for me as it is for anybody else watching. Multiscale is a true mind breaker for me. I still have Nully-X overload. Yep, base project gonna work on CAD. All right, well, hopefully you'll get something out of this as well. I'm using the 9th fret as the perpendicular. So on the 25.5-inch scale length, that is 2.625. So 2.6.2 and 2.6.2. There. So now I have the perpendicular. And using a protractor, and I would have gotten it right. I would have had the 26 in the right place. Maybe. I'm not going to go so far as to say that yet. So there. Now, no, 26.5 would have been wrong. So yeah. I have 25.5-inch scale length, the 24th fret on the 25.5, and the perpendicular fret for both. But for the 26.5, that perpendicular sits on 27288. So 27288. So that's closer to 273. Drawing with this size pencil. Smidge under. There. So that is now the nut line for my 26.5 and 26.5. Yeah, that looks a lot better. The distance here was massive, so no wonder it was throwing everything off a little bit. Okay. 26.5 and 26.5. Let me just draw the 25 out ever so slightly. Now, I'm gonna have a 43 mil nut. So, just because I like 43 mil nuts. There. And on the 26, it will be there. Join the two. Like so. And now I need to figure out where so that's the nut line for the 26. Match that up with the scale length, great. The 24th fret on the 26.5 is 504.85. 504.85, it's pretty close to about there. And 48577. 48577. So that's right around over here. Same thing, draw these out. See it as overload Achilles body converted to normal bridge with nollie Dingwall specs and headstock design. I need to, oh, wait. I need to check what the overload one is. I think I know which one you mean. Yeah, the Achilles. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, essentially the bass that Eugene plays with nollie Dingwall specs and headstock design. Dude, that looks cool. That sounds like a very cool idea. Yep, Eugene from Ginger Signature. Yep, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. All right, so before I forget which line is which, I want this end to be 57.5. So there, and then 57.5 over on here on the 26.5. 56 there. Join the two, and now that should be my neck shape. Let's join those lines up. there we are. Okay, starting to look like something. Headless adds another 200, and complexity, headless hardware scares as well. Yeah, I had that same thing where when I was designing the base for Johnny, it was a scary concept at first, but it's not that bad. All right, so maybe something like that, so it's gonna go like that underneath. I'm probably gonna make this, oh, one thing that I forgot to do is, of course, this fretboard still extends a little bit because that's the 24th fret, so we still need to have a little bit after the fret for the actual end of the fretboard. So I'm adding, let's add 5 mil extra on both sides. But yeah, the headless base I did for Johnny, that was a lot of learning, and that was just a headless, that wasn't even multiscale. But essentially you can just use, well, depending on what design you go for, you could still use just standard headless hardware and make a zero nut, basically. No, you could use standard headless hardware, so a block like that, but then you would just have this empty void where a nut is. And whether that annoys you or not is another thing. I know, right? For some reason my brain mushed them together. Spoke wheel truss rod, the only type I like. Yeah, maybe I should do that with this. Make this like hyper modern. I don't know why I said it like that. Make this like a lot more modern than the other guitar designs I have. What I am thinking of doing is making this a tenon joint, so extending the neck basically here, sort of PRS style, and then having the pickups here. Yeah. I need to think about that. Yeah. Anywho, what I need to do is now add my nut. So I'm gonna make that about 3 mil. The interesting thing here is I am gonna take inspiration from Dingwall and actually have a scooped headstock on a multiscale. Why, you may ask? Well, because that means that I don't need to use as much material to make the neck. Essentially, that's all it really boils down to. Right, so there's my nut. Extend that. Now, let's have a look at the neck here. This is the old neck template, which is very far off from center. I might want to actually do the string spacing first. So let's do that. So, string spacing first. Let's get you looking in the right direction again. Usually what I tend to do is I have 3.5 mil on the bass side, which would be here, and 3 mil on the treble side, which is here, and then figure out. Now this is made a little bit more difficult when these aren't actually straight on. How far away is this? 18. Yeah. So I'll have to do it like this. Far from ideal. Come on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops, that's a 7 string. Let's not do that this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Great. All right. Need to figure out that on the other side. Yes, go for it. Pedalker uses fancy spoke field covers with magnets. That's what I plan on doing with this base as well, scooped headstock. One thing that scares me are the nuts. I don't have the tools, but I can 3D print them though. Nuts aren't that scary. Seriously, they're actually fairly straightforward if you just know your processes well. And essentially, it's just having your... I just made a video on how I make nuts. You should go check that out. I'm way too tired to explain it right now. But essentially, you just have your block of material as long as your high E and your low E are in the correct places, and you have this. So a string spacing rule. This is the pretty much essential, and it's not that much. You can get this from a lot, or similar sort of things from a lot of different places. This one is from Stu Mac, but if you get this, then you should be pretty good. If you can 3D print nuts, just make sure that the string spacing is correct. Or if you're just talking about yeah, you just need to make sure that your string spacing is pretty much good to go. I tend to only make the nut slots when it's the right dimension for the guitar. There's going to be sanding and everything else involved, so when your neck has been fine sanded and maybe even finished, usually would be a good idea. Finish your neck first and do the nut pretty much right before you do setup and electronics and stuff like that. And you'll get the right size for it, and then after that you can figure out where your strings will sit. That would be my suggestion, at least. All right, so this is gonna have singular saddles. That is something that I decided now. So that's my low E. Let's extend that. And this will be my high E. There. Yep, I think that's pretty good. I think the problem filling this finding the slots. Those files are pretty expensive. They are, but they are worth every buck. Seriously. It took me a very long time to actually buy the not selling files, but I don't regret it for a second. They are worth the money that they're asking for. Trust me. All right, so roughly draw on the shape of this headstock, because the headstock for the scum is going to be different. It's not going to, the scum, the Icarus, and the Daedalus are all going to have different headstock shapes. And yeah, so the funny thing is that the way that the headstock shape came out for the original scum was more or less an accident. We kept it within the dimensions of the neck blank, and when we ran out of room, it was just, that actually looks pretty good, let's keep it like that. I'll show you what I mean. Just a sec, I need to find it first. I hate how Facebook works. There you go. The scum. So yeah, here. So that's the original headstock shape. And right here where there's the flat surface, that is literally the end of the neck blank. We didn't glue any wings onto it or anything. This is literally cut from the neck blank and fitting like that. So I think I'm gonna stay true to this somewhat, but I will add wings to it, I think. So let us go like that. This can come a little bit further out. This probably isn't going to change too much. I might make it into a straight line though, because the Icarus headstock is not a straight line. So I'm just going to draw a line here and then start adjusting. So that comes, oh, I need to bring that in much more shallow than that. Let's see where that ends up first, because I don't want to have my strings going at too big of an angle. I kind of want as straight string pull as possible. So in order to do that, I am gonna put the first one here. And usually I go 13 mil out. So 1, 2, 3 here. And on an inline headstock, I will do 25 mil apart. So, essentially, I'm going to use this. Roughly draw that out there so I have a better understanding of things. So yeah, 25 mil out, which would be here. That's 25. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now, 13 millimeters from here. Actually, I need that. Where is it? Here. There's some weird music that they're playing. All right. There. Now I know that these are going to be 10 mil holes. Ah, it's only 15. Man, that sucks. Okay. That didn't help me anything. Just wondering, have you seen the Solar Telly? Yes, I have. I think it looks great. I'm not the biggest fan of the pointiest guitars in the world, but I do like Solars, actually, from the look. The look has been designed very well. For a metal guitar, very well designed. And I think the T-type looks great. For a little bit of a homage to the original headstock, which was quite rounded at the very end. Let's erase some of that. So I'm going to keep that flat piece. It's sort of like a Firebird type headstock, isn't it? A little bit. I kind of like that. Then the scoop will come about here. Okay. I'm starting to kind of really dig this shape now. It's starting to come together. I think I can safely start. Oh, I don't like it. Well, the white one they released looks sick, but it looks quite butchered in my eyes. It fits the Solar line, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It suits the Solar line. That's more what I'm going for. That for what it was designed to be, it works very well. I have my own opinions about Solar, for sure. But let's have a look here. Like, the thing that I don't really dig too much is the really pointy horn. I think that doesn't work that well at all, with the pickguard especially. But considering that the idea here is to make a Solar version of a T-type, then in that sense, this works out very, very well. Kind of the same thing with when they had or they still do, have this one. So the G one. I don't really dig the shape at all, but trying to make a Les Paul type shape for Solar, this is pretty much the choice that they had to make. I understand that with the design choice of being pointy metal guitar, it works very well for them. Not something I would get for myself, but you know, the sort of theme that they were going for is evident. I dig the red one, but I'm a sucker for red guitars. Yeah. Again, I can really appreciate Solar's design being true to the brand. Not a little bit too metal guitar for me, but it would be cool to have one for doing like very good riffy metal songs. But yeah, I mean, I got my baby and I'm happy with it right now, so I'm gonna live with that. And also there's some you know, things about wood choices and build choices that I don't quite agree with, but that's a totally separate issue. Now, I need to come up with the pickups for this, but I think I only have, I think I have the 6-string. Yeah, I have the 6-string pickup template at the workshop, so I need to figure something out. Oh, I know how I can figure that out. I am going to check. Oh, that's a 7-string, 7-string pickup. Yeah, I'm just gonna check the size of the pickup here. So let's say about 66 gets me pretty close, which is nice because it evenly goes to 33. So whether or not I can actually have it that close, probably not. Probably not. Might need to push it back ever so slightly. But I have it here, maybe? Oh, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. True metal tellies are the gym root tellies, not LTD. Or LTD. Yes, that I can agree with. Definitely. The gym root telly is so good. The gym root guitars in general, they're just ridiculously good. I do have to admit, Hoppa's telly and Jazzmaster look amazing. Yes, they too do look pretty damn good. I was supposed to build a Hoppa style Jazzmaster for a client this year, but it just didn't pan out. One of those things. I mean, it's not a slanted pickup. I'm using just standard pickup template, so of course it's gonna look a little off, a lot off. But I'll have to make templates for this. Not sure if you know this, but do angled or normal pickups have effect on a multiscale guitar? Yes, they do have an effect. So, unless if you have a sort of soap bar pickup, so one that doesn't have pole pieces, for instance like Fishman's or EMG's, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Or if you have a sort of like rail pickup, but however, if you have an open coil pickup that has pole pieces, those pole pieces need to line up with the strings. Now, if you have just a normal standard pickup with pole pieces, I'll actually show you here. So, if you just have a normal pickup like this, I'll show it on here so you can actually better see what I mean. So, now you can see when it's straight that the strings, if I'm just following my drawing here, the strings line up with the two pole pieces here, dead on. But now if I turn that pickup to this orientation, you see that that pole piece no longer, no, you can't see that. There. See, now that pole piece is, this one is exactly in the middle of the pole, as it should be, but this is way far off. And I'm just following the angle of what I've drawn on here. Same thing if I go now onto the other scale length here. This one is fine, but then this one is way far off. Now, sonically, it's not ideal. Will you be able to hear the difference? Also don't know, because it will still carry the vibration, sure, but technically what you're doing is you have two coils on a humbucker, right? So the way you get the sound from the humbucker is with the string vibrating on top of both of the coils, which, you know, is defined by the two pole pieces here. If you're out of line, so to speak, you might be out of phase a bit, I think is the word. I don't really know that much about electronics, but I do know that it is pretty much the reason why they have slanted or angled pickups is so that you can still have the pole pieces line up with your strings, which is the whole premise of how guitar pickups work in the first place. So what I want to have here, I'm going to do the bridge now. So just going to do it. I'm going to over-exaggerate this just a little bit just to give me an idea because I don't have a bridge option to use currently. So I'm just going to draw a line. But what I am thinking is just I'm going to use single piece bridges, or single saddle bridges, I should say. That is kind of what I'm hoping to go for. I have to be right back. See you soon. So yeah, now I have that. Let's see, I'll do but yeah, so I would need to look into some slanted pickups. I will have a word with Gangas if they can actually make me some slanted pickups, because that will be freaking sweet. See if we can get that worked out. now I'm actually pretty curious on going to go check out how that Crimson multiscale ended up sounding. If there is a clip of that, I haven't really looked. How is that so much different now? I don't know. Yeah, the pickups are off, but I don't have the right template for that, so I need to get some. But essentially, that is more or less what we're looking at here on I don't think that looks too bad. I am cautiously optimistic about this. Let's put in some knobs. It's going to be one here. Do I have a backplate template here? I just cleaned a little while ago, so of course now I can't find anything, which is the way these things go, apparently. Okay, well, I didn't find the backplate template anywhere nearby, at least. Bummer. Oh, I have a backplate right there on the floor. I'll just use that. Okay. Tone. And I'm gonna make that, I made that 19. So. Volume. Toggle switch. We'll make that a push pull 3-way toggle volume, master volume. Slanted pickups, gongas question mark. Yeah. Now I didn't draw in the truss rod access that I was talking about. I think I might still put it in the headstock. So that would be around here. But now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer over the headstock here. So I need to have gonna do it here. $20 at the nut line, or at the first fret, which is round about there. That's gonna be, let's actually do that, yeah. So let's pretend that it's 20 mil here, extends to the nut. So there, and need to draw a line. Okay. That goes to there. It's going to be about there is where the scoop is gonna go up until. So $15 mil headstock. Join those two lines. There. All right. So now I will have this come out. So that's the top of the nut. Goes to about there. That's about, give or take, I'll say 2 mil high. So this is the side profile, basically, of everything. The fretboard will extend to about there. It will be about 7.5 mil, 7 mil. 5, 6, 7. And now join these. Nice, gentle scoop. There. And then a volute. There. Okay, cool. So that's the side profile. Headstock side. And usually this is the part where I would draw the back of the guitar, which we could actually do. What time is it? Been going for a little bit. Do I want to do the back still? Technically the back would be the flip version of this. So I'd need to fold the paper over like that. Which I'm not sure if I'm bothered to do currently. However, I think that that looks pretty cool. Just make a thumbnail for the video. And yeah, I think that actually went fairly well. I'll give you a better look at what we made here. So essentially, there's the body and the headstock. And that is what we have now ended up with. Oh, you made it just in time to check out the... Whoa, sorry. The lock came loose now. Yeah. You just made it back for seeing how everything went down. So essentially, this is now the finished design. There's a lot of tweaking to be done. Of course, these pickups just aren't right because they need to be slanted pickups, and they're drawn with a 7-string pickup template, so they look very off. I still need to draw in the saddles, or the bridge, so the single saddle bridge, and probably the rest of the frets. They will give a good idea of where to go. But I am gonna give you a little tip on this book by Melvin Hiscock, who just actually passed away this year. But this guitar is essential for any luthier. It has a lot of really, really great info, and I use it for every single build because it has, you know, scale lengths, various different scale lengths to use. If you're just gonna look at scale lengths, however, then there is eKip's Fret Find 2D. I just write Fret Find into Google, and it gives me this page as one of the first things. And it has all kinds of different parameters, so you can really get down to the nitty-gritty. And I really suggest using that for designing stuff. Some sketching paper, see-through designing paper. Oh, I don't know what it's called in English. We call it skis paper here. But yeah, essentially this sort of transparent stuff is really good to have and lots of. But I did, as you can see from probably in the cupboard over there, I did do my old designs on wallpaper, just excess wallpaper that I bought at just some home decor shop. They had a, you know, little bin with offcuts, and I used that. Really good rulers, measuring tools, Incra rules, well worth the money. This protractor is amazing. I need to get myself another one of these as well. And a really good meter rule. This one has inches on one side and millimeters on the other. Very handy to figure out your scale length and then your fret positions and everything else. Really suggest getting one of those. Yeah. Looks great. I've been thinking about buying it. There was also building a marketing bureau. And I use FretFind to model on the fretboard for CAD. Yep. That's technically what it's used for. I often do 4 mil for the side of the fretboard to the middle of the string. I design them for load tuning in mind. Yeah, that also makes sense. Like, basically I base the 3.5 on the bass side and 3 mil on the treble as a sort of standard tens sort of set. But for instance, with this guitar, I might bring that out ever so slightly with maybe 4 and then 3.5. Because it is a multiscale, it's probably gonna have lower tuning. Yeah. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. And thank you for suggesting this for a topic to stream. I've been meaning to do this for a while and I've been putting it off because I've had other things that I had to do, better things to do. So this was well worth streaming and getting done. So thank you for that. And I will see you in the next stream, probably next video, which is gonna be Sunday. And I believe it will actually be the last video of the Celeste 2.0 build series. So that should be fun. I still need to demo that guitar. I need to get in contact with well, I've gotten in contact with my uncle, but hopefully we can make a demo day and demo that guitar. That would be freaking cool. And then, yeah, fun stuff coming up. I do 4-on-4 high E, low E. Yeah, I mean, that's completely fine. It just depends on what string spacing you want. I have a habit of, I've been taught one thing, and if it's not broke, why fix it? It's worked out very well for me. And if I run into issues, then I adjust accordingly. But I've liked that string spacing personally. It feels nice to me, so that's why I use it. But yeah, thank you. Hopefully you got good info out of this. I tried my best. It was hazardous. Learning experience for me as well, drawing out my second multiscale guitar. All right, bye.